Okay, so this is going to be a little awkward. I'm going to do it backwards for you. So you can see that there's this I-cord edge on this shawl that I did. And I thought this section would be easiest to see because each color thing is one stitch. So there's one red stitch and one gray stitch, that kind of thing. So I'm going to hold these right up close. So you can see the little V's there, right? So you're going to pick up one leg of the V. So I'm looking at this red one right here, and you're either going to go this direction against the V's or this direction with them, and that doesn't really change, but basically what you want to do is pick one of the V's. Sorry, trying to watch to make sure I'm pointing the right thing. Okay, so, oh, there, that works. So when you look at these V's, you want to pick, as you're going, you're going to make sure that you're picking one at a time, and you're either going to do the top leg or the bottom leg. For most patterns, what'll look best is if you actually pick this top leg and not this lower side of the V. So if I hold it this way, you want the one on the left, not the right, if that makes sense. That way you've got a little bit of a nice edge on the bottom edge. So you're just going to go through with your needle, and you can pick them up really whichever direction, it doesn't matter. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick it in there from my angle. So you're just going to go ahead and go along and pick it up just like that. So see how it's just that left leg is over there? And then you're going to get the next one. So now you're going to get, I'm going to get this gray one. And what some people do when they're picking it up from I-cord, so see now you've got one from the red and one from the gray, and you're just going to keep doing that over and over again. So what some people do is they use a crochet hook. This is easy for me because you slipped this I-cord as you were doing it, so it's a elongated stitch. If you weren't doing the slipping, then of course they'll be closer together and it can get a little fiddly. If you mess one up as you're picking it up, especially for the number you're talking about, it's not likely to be noticeable. And if it is going to be noticeable, you'll see it as you're coming back and actually knitting. So when you get to that spot, you could fix it right there. So I wouldn't worry. This isn't something you have to be super perfectionist about. So I'm going to grab one more gray one. And I think the main key is just to be consistent. So I'm always going from the top to the bottom of the stitch, right? Because it's oriented this way, the little V. Well, technically this way, the little V. So I'm always going from the top of the stitch down with the needle on the other side rather than coming bottom up. So it doesn't matter what you do, you just want to be consistent. And then depending on which direction you come knitting back, worst case scenario, you can see that these stitches sit kind of angled on the needle. If you're coming through and the lead leg is not the one that's in front, then you can either knit them through the back loop, which is what I usually do if I put them on the wrong direction, so to speak, or you can switch each one as you come to it. But I usually just knit them through the back loop because that untwists them. If you notice that when you do pickups, they tend to be really loose or gappy, then don't knit them through the back loop, leave them twisted because that'll neaten up that edge. I have that problem. When I pick up stitches, even when I'm doing this method, they're way too loose when I do it, so that sinks them up. So hopefully, let me get this back up here just so you can see it. So hopefully that makes sense now that you're kind of seeing it. So, and that's why you're doing that, and then you're adding your working yarn, whatever, and knitting across these as you go. So, hope that helps, Lucy.